Good morning, guys. So, as we can see, Euro USD continued its descent lower and lower and lower. So, right now we're trading at this demand area where our fractal high is over here at the 1.17536 area, and our fractal low is at 1.6641. I think from yesterday, I think we started somewhere around yesterday, right? So let's see how many pips did we drop yesterday even. Phew, quite the drop, right? Wow, so we had 100 pip drop. Phew, that's a wonderful drop. So as we've been saying, so we know swing wise, like your guys is bullish, right? But if you look at this price action right before this breakout, right? So we have this squeezing price action towards the highs, then we have this breakout. In the breakouts, you understand it's possible that we break retest and kept pushing up, right? So we this was the retest, buyer stepped in, or as we discussed last week, it could also be a false breakout, which this is looking like it is, right? So now what do we have here? We have this area, this buy up before the sell down that took out this liquidity has been taken out, that took out liquidity to the left, right? So we have this whole area, right? This buy up before the sell down took out liquidity to the left. Market pushed out of it, came inside, and then pushed back out, right? So that is the immediate market structure on Euro USD. So for me, it's just basically okay. Now we're just marking our liquidity highs, right? So here we have liquidity, here we have liquidity. We could look for additional sell positions from any of those, but keep in mind that it might never even retrace that deep because here we have the monthly open, and it's quite possible that okay, we could perhaps, if we go to the lower time frame, let's look at the 1 hour. Okay, so we could start to react from here, grab this liquidity, right, and then start to react and start to sell to come to this liquidity low. So keep that in mind as we trade Euro USD, which will telling us that the dollar also switched bullish, right? So this was what we're looking for, right? We're looking for that break. So we had that break of this area. We took out all this liquidity, all the sellers, right? So it was a nice area of support, a supply rather. And you know, okay, there would be sellers here, right? We came here first time, pushed down, right? We came back in, pushed again, but couldn't push it down lower. And now we just came back, took out that liquidity. And for me, it's just all about looking for that retest, right? So now this is our sell before the buy up, right? So it's all about looking for that retest, and then once we find that retest, we could just target this liquidity high right here at 99. So it's all about patience, waiting for the right setup to develop. Let's see what happens today till next week, right? So we just wait for that retest as we've discussed all week. Wait for that retest, and then just boom, look for those for the buys into the highs. So beautiful price action on the dollar. GBP USD, what can we say? I mean, we're looking for those sales, right? From either this liquidity high or this liquidity high. This was the higher probability that we're waiting for. But if you can see here, right? So we had this imbalance. And this imbalance did a wonderful job of pushing the market down lower, right? So market came into there, market came into the imbalance, right? So we have that squeezing price action into this area. So once it came into fractal low, right, and then our fractal high, that was broken, boom, and we never looked back. Only a little bit, but just some massive dumps. So beautiful price action on GBP USD overall. All I'm interested in is sales. Further retracement into the highs would be lovely, right? So could have some further retracement into the highs as the dollar is also retracing. So that would give us new. So if you can see also, we grab this liquidity here, so that could cause that retracement into back into where this area of supply, right? This buy before the sell down that broke the structure, right? So we've grabbed that liquidity, and then let's just watch what happens. We just wait for market in that area of supply with liquidity resting here, right? And then if we get this swipe and that reaction here, then we can use it to sell the market to target this ascending lows, and here also. So let's see how that goes. Let's wait for that to develop. NZD USD, as you can see with NZD USD, just look at this impulsive phase, man. So we've been making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and then we took out this liquidity area, and then boom, it's just from there, it's just sells and sells. I was targeting this liquidity low, we took it. So now, like, so if you take it, right, so this is, let's take the market in phases, right? So now we're, this was our retracement phase, right? So our retracement phase, right? And now we're back in that impulse, right? We're back in that impulsive phase. So this was retracement, now they're back in that impulsive phase. So let's keep an eye out for further shorts on this pair. So how would we want to short it? Same thing we do every time. We identify liquidity, right? Little hiccups in this move down. So in this impulsive move, so we have here as liquidity highs, right? We have liquidity resting here, we have liquidity here. So for us, it's all about taking out those liquidity, looking out for that change of character, and then going in. So here we have this consolidation, which is nice because you know you're gonna have um, people, right, sellers here, right above here. So we could take it out, react to it, and then we start to sell, or even from here. So for me, it's all about waiting. We wait for it to develop, and then we can go in. Okay, guys. If we look at AUD USD, we took a stop loss on this trade yesterday. Uh, but if you want to look at the trade, okay. So why did we take the trade? First of all, we had this we have this impulse move up, right? Swing wise on the 4 hour, we're bullish, right? Always look at your swing structure from this low to this high, we're bullish. Now we had a retracement, but the and once we had that retracement, we had liquidity grab, right? Quarterly open, right? These were all our confidences, right? And then we had that change of character, demand chain being formed, right? So we wanted to target this high, this liquidity high here, and then that didn't happen as the bearish order flow held up, and we hit our stop loss, which is quite fine, right? So for me now, it's all about looking for those sells, right? It's all about looking for those sells, and from here, right, so we have this liquidity high resting here, we also have liquidity resting above here, right? So all of this for me is just looking for those cells. Perhaps we'll use this as a strong area of supply, which took out this liquidity, broke market structure, and then we come back into this area, react to it, and we start to sell from there. That would be nice. So it's all about waiting for market to develop, and then we can take those positions. Okay, guys. All right. I mean, look at this beautiful, beautiful price action on USD So USD we had the sweep of this low, and what do you expect after we take out that liquidity? We expect some retracement, and that was what was going on until we had that fractal structure shift, right? So we had that fractal structure shift right here yesterday, and on the daily, on the 4 hour, we're also fractally bullish. So for me, it's all about, okay, now I'm waiting to see how this market will develop. Perhaps we come into here, take out this liquidity, use the quarterly open, and use it as support as we're reacting to this resistance at the monthly open. Guys, always keep the opens. Always keep the opens. They're very sweet, very nice. You can use them as targets. You can use them as entry points, right? So keep the opens on your chart. They are actually good because that's where institutions trade from, right? If you think about it, right? So they need to balance their books at the end of the month. They need to balance their books at the end of the quarter. So they need to leave trade and they will need to enter trade. In fact, they like to enter trade at those same prices. That's why these levels work so well. You have institutions waiting for these levels. So if you're trading with these opens, you're trading with institutions. So I don't know what else to convince you about these opens, guys. Incorporate it into your trading, put it into your chart, and see the magic. So back to what we're saying. So perhaps we have this area being targeted and liquidity taken from here, and then we can use it as that fuel move up. But keep in mind, we might not even retrace that deep because it might just be that impulsive. So all I'm just waiting for is, and also if you look at here, we have one touch, we have the second touch here, and then now we have this third touch of that trend line. So I know the trend line traders are waiting to short this market. They're in this market looking to short it, and that might be the fuel that we use to push, to keep on pushing up higher and higher. Okay, guys, keep that in mind. Okay, let's have a look at USD card. What is there to say? Just get pushing up higher and higher. So yesterday we are looking for those short from here once we grab that liquidity. Okay, so we're saying okay, if there was a manipulation, we form new fractal structure, and then we can look for those cells below the 0.25, 0.75, right? As you can see, that never happened. So I hope nobody forced any trade, and we just kept pushing up higher and higher and higher. So there was no trade to be taken. So for now, we just wait, see what it wants to do. Now that we've taken out this extreme high, it's a possibility that we start to retrace and come back into that range. Or if this is a good breakout, we break out of it, use this area as support, and then we start to push up from there, right? So something like here, right? So maybe we'll find support inside the zone, and then we start to push up from there. So keep that in mind, right? As we head, as we close this week and heading into next week. Okay, so for um gold, for God and country. For gold, we came into this low, right? So we came into this liquidity low, we took it out, right? And we still have this open lows. I'm still waiting for deeper retracements on gold, and then that sweet change of character with demand chain being formed, so we can look for those longs again, perhaps even somewhere around here, right? So let's see how that goes, as I want to target 3,800 first, and then we know what goes from there. Okay, guys. USD JPY, USD JPT. USD JPY. Okay, so you can see. So we're consolidating. Now we had that sweep of the low. Now we've come here taking out all these extreme highs that we're waiting for to be taken. So for me right now, it's just all about okay, we're bullish. I'm not looking for short. I'm just looking for longs because of even my bias on the dollar. So how will I be looking for longs? From areas of demand, right? From sell before the buy up, right? So from inside here, we could probably look for longs. Let's see how market wants to react, and then so that would be nice to trade from. Okay, guys. I wish you a wonderful trading day. Have a good weekend. Practice, back test, relax, reset, and be present. Okay, thank you.